sociocide, broken relations, and the quest for democracy.
Let me
And
let me be a little defensive here. I read it on Kindle. Maybe that's treachery, but
no, no, not at all.
was that in the title on
It's in
Kindle?
the subtitle. Yeah, it's called.
Oh, okay. Then my error. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no problem. But it's just to say, to sort of continue the thread, when society, America has always been an individualistic society, sort of that kind of value system that says focus on me, 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 and get ahead. That's the way American way. That's the American capitalist way. It's the capitalist way generally. So I kind of bring together kind of Marx and Durkheim in thinking about American society as one in which the level of focus on individual survival, individual self-interest has become so acute that it's really pulling the society apart. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Robert, but there's a book that was written by a famous anthropologist called The Mountain People. It was about the IK. It was a tribal group that was displaced in Uganda into a very remote area where there was no food. And what the anthropologist found was that there was no, he called it the loveless society. There was no empathy. There was no care for other people at all. Because if you and I were there, Robert, and you were part of my family, if I went out to try to scavenge food for yourself, I would die that day because there was so little food that people who didn't devote all their energy into finding food for themselves would die, literally. And so people were selling out their family. There was only the me. There was no we. There was no sense of collectivity. And I make the argument in this book that long before Trump, these sociopathic, social, and now sociocidal forces are pulling America apart. I just had a talk in my first day of class with my students this semester about social media and how they viewed it. And they said 4 hours a day on the screen. I do have stuff in Silicon Valley in the book. And they said they spend 3 or 4 hours a day, but they feel disconnected to almost everybody they talk to online. And that's one of the things I look at in this book, how, the most powerful corporations, the most wealthy people in society who are surrounding Trump and are part of his oligarchy, are part of this new ecosystem of communication. I call it a logarithmic wiring of power, which basically is a way of connecting people in disconnected forms of relationship, controlled by corporate elites who have very strong interest in the kind of information people have about each other and how they relate to each other. Solidarity is very dangerous to elites. So we're building through the online world a form of communication and connection, which my students validate is incredibly disconnecting and alienated. They don't trust other people. They feel they don't know who the influencers are on their media feed and so forth. And so we have a generation growing up that is feeling increasingly isolated, at war with, a competition for jobs. People are buying guns at levels never seen before because they feel so distrustful and scared of other people. The biggest buyer of guns, by the way, is women, who they're not buying it to hunt or sport. They're buying it for protection. They're buying guns for their kids. There's a lot of money to be made in selling guns right now.